pretty early on in my career, I had the opportunity to have a meeting. Well, I was at a dinner and he was sitting right next to me. He was the head salesman of a very big dental supply organization. And I remember the conversation we had, and it stuck with me for a long time. This must have been like 5 years now. But he told me that marketing was perceived value. That's all that it was. And that stuck with me for a long time because I always felt that that was fundamentally mistaken. And who was I as like a person who's just starting marketing to question that from a person who's been so established? But throughout my experience, I've become to realize more and more that it couldn't be further from the truth. So when we are so comfortable with misleading or false advertising. If you think of fast food restaurants, if you think of what the images of the food are like versus what you actually get when you order it, there is a separation between perceived value, what the marketer is curating this image of. There is a distinct separation from that and the actual value, the thing that you actually receive. And when we create this disparity intentionally on the marketer's part, because they know the product is not like that, yet they are willing to serve an image that is distinct. So when we do that, what we're essentially doing is we are breaking trust. And sure, it could be good for a quick sale. It could boost your bottom line for the first quarter when the people who are out of the loop or the people who don't know about this misleading or false advertising purchase your product or service. But what happens on the back end? It will ruin relationships. It will break trust. And if you continuously seek to optimize the short term and ignore the long-term effects, then that's going to have devastating results. So marketing isn't about perceived value. Rather, it is the whole experience. You have to take everything into consideration. Sure, perceived value is a part of it, but it is a tiny portion of it. That if the perceived value isn't there, that's okay, because eventually the people who do experience the actual value will go out and they will tell the others, and the perceived value will naturally rise. So when we do all our work of focusing on perceived value, when we focus on advertising, on creating a slick slogan, on optimizing your website or making it look nice and fancy, when we put our focus there, what we're essentially doing is putting our focus on something that is ephemeral and there's no substance to it. Rather than if we focused on the actual experience and the actual product or service and what the people actually get and the benefits of that. One of the reasons I'm so passionate about teaching that aspect of it, of how we can do a better job there, is because my career has largely been focused on the perceived value aspect of it. I spent a lot of time working, that's almost exclusively what we do as an agency side. We work on the perceived value, we work on the visibility and all that good stuff. But I've also realized that the biggest levers to the actual results that our clients experience, that isn't part of it. The biggest lever is what happens after that. So I've worked with clients who struggle because we did as well as we can on the front end, on the perceived value end, but they don't necessarily match. It doesn't necessarily match with their level of service. Or I've worked with clients who we've done a decent job with the perceived value, and they've delivered an extraordinary service. And that is always what's going to separate people who really succeed and people who really struggle. It's not the perceived value. So if we show up as marketers, and I'm talking about you as well, because you're in charge of the experience which is the biggest lever when it comes to getting more and more sales in the future, therefore it's part of marketing. When we show up just looking to play the game of perceived value, or if you're outsourcing your marketing to a different agency and all they do is focus on perceived value, you're really missing out on the biggest factors of future traction with the people you want to work with, right? So we need to stop thinking that perceived value is all there is to it. we also need to stop thinking that I think this is something I struggle with too, is like, I've made this thing and therefore it's good enough. We just need to figure out a way to get people to buy it. I think that is a mindset that we need to avoid. And rather, the mindset would be, how can we continuously improve this thing in service of the people we seek to serve? And when that happens, we can go back to the drawing board. We can continue to improve that thing. And that becomes marketing. The process of improving what you're delivering to better fit the people who you seek to serve, so that you create more value there and they continue returning because you're the only person who's doing that for them in that way that they want. And there's no substitutes. All right. So it's not about perceived value. It's the whole thing, the whole experience, what they get, all the benefits. The perceived value is a part of it too. Don't make the mistake of focusing on one aspect of this broad thing that is marketing and thinking that you have marketing covered, thinking that that's all there is that you need to do. The biggest thing that's going to help you grow is going to be continuously improving and reinventing what you think it is that you do in service of the people that you seek to serve. All right. So that's it for today's video. Hope you found it valuable, and I'll see you guys in the next one.